Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Don Ziglione and I'm back with another tutorial. This is a very awesome tutorial. This is about a tool that I use. A tool that I use on every single session, no matter what, without fail. I guarantee I'm using this. So if I'm using this on every session, that means you need to know where it is, what it does, all of the above, and I'm gonna teach that to you right now. This is a lesson on Tab To Transient. Let's go on inside and get this party started, all right? Alright, now just a quick disclaimer, I'm going to be showing you how to do this in Pro Tools. That's the software that I use, but once you learn what it is and what it does, I highly encourage you to just Google how to do Tab To Transient in whatever software you use, okay? So let's go ahead and let me show you what it looks like here. So right up here in the upper left is the Tab To Transient button. This is where it is, this is what it looks like, and in all of the years that I've worked in Pro Tools, it has never moved. Just in case it does move, the quick key for it is Control-Alt-Tab, and that will toggle it on and off. If you're on a Mac, that would be Apple Option-Tab to toggle it on and off. So what it does is if I push the Tab key on my keyboard, you'll notice that my cursor goes to each transient, right? A transient is just a sudden change in voltage, so for instance going from 0 to full volume. And the beautiful thing about it is that it always will take it from a 0 point crossing of the voltage, right? Here's what I mean by that. So if we take a look at this simple waveform here, you can see that on this red line, if we were to cut it there, we would be cutting this at a positive voltage. There's energy going and we're interrupting that. In order to avoid getting pops and snaps and little snips like that, you need to make sure all of your edits and cuts are right at the 0 voltage crossing point where there is no energy going through the sound. This way you don't get any of those pops or snaps, right? And so you see as we tab through to these other ones, it's gonna go to the transient, but it's also going to stop at the 0 point of voltage so that you don't have any errors. And same thing with the snare. If I come down here, we get the actual beginning of each sound, right? Here's the kick. So the beautiful thing about that is we can go ahead, separate it, and now I've got a kick right from the beginning. I can go ahead, pull this up, I can manipulate it however I want. We can duplicate it a bunch. We can do the same with the snare. We can come here and just kind of throw it all over the place. Of course, this is just random, but it creates whatever you want, right? The options are all up to you. So let's take a look at this bass right here. It does the same thing. It's going to go to each note as I tab through, just like that. If we want to tab to that one and just get these two, we've got that. Or just take this note, cut it out, sample it, do whatever you want. All right, let's take a look at some more complex waveforms here. So let's say we wanted to sample something out of this beat here, right? Let's go ahead and take this part right here, and then we'll create a loop out of it before the drop. So if we come anywhere before it and push tab, it's going to give us a transient, but that's not where we want. We want to get it right on that kick, right? The downbeat. So we'll tab over. So you hear we've got 2 snares and then the kick, right? So we'll tab. So tab to that next snare. So we need to tab one more time. And we've got the kick perfectly. I'm going to use Control-E to separate, or Apple-E if you're on a Mac, and that will make a selection there. Now let's go find the end of the sample. Right there. Same thing with the 2 snares. So we're going to tab over. So we can hear 2 snares, tab, 1 snare, tab. There's the downbeat. I'll separate again, and now we should have a perfect loop that we can go through and manipulate however we want. Just like that. So you can see how Tab To Transient works. It's really good at getting perfect selections. I'm going to give you one more example here just to make sure it's all sinking in, right? We've got another beat here. Nice. I think we'll take a part over here. Let's take this section right here where it builds up. So we'll go through and find the downbeat, right? Or any beat you want to. It doesn't have to be a downbeat. We can just start pulling out snares and off sections as much as we want here. But let's get this downbeat here. So we'll tab on over to where it looks like. We'll get one before. So you hear we're not quite there, and then that's our downbeat. We'll separate, Control E or Apple E. All right, and there's our kick. That should be easy to find, right? Tab right over to it. Perfect. Separate, and now we've got a beautiful loop here. Let's see. Duplicate it a couple times. Smooth. No pops, no snaps. That's because it's separating at the 0 point of voltage every time. That's the most important part. If you don't do that, you're going to hear something along the lines of this, right? So I went ahead and took this sample and I just picked random spots that were not 0 point crossing. This is what the pops and snaps sound like. Right here. You hear that snap? That's what you get if you interrupt the voltage. If you just cut it as a positive or a negative voltage, you're going to get those sounds. So the 0 point crossing is exactly what you need. This is how you get perfect samples, and this is what Tab To Transient does. As I push the tab button on my keyboard, it's just going to bounce from transient to transient to transient. It's a beautiful thing. So go wild. In fact, why don't you let me know in the comment section any cool and interesting things that you were able to come up with using Tab To Transient on your own. And don't forget, even if you don't use Pro Tools, I hope you at least learned something about that 0 point voltage crossing so that you can avoid getting pops and snaps when you're trying to make loops, samples, editing audio, whatever you're doing, right? So yeah, that's Tab To Transient. My name is Don Ziglione, and thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I've got a bunch of tutorials for you. I'm teaching everything, all the secrets. Follow me on Instagram, Patreon, wherever. I'm all over the place, all right? And hit me up. I look forward to speaking with you. I'll be very active down there in the comment section, so type away. I'll be right there if you have any questions, all right? So thanks again. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.